Hello everyone, Jordan here, bringing you the 10th episode on my Call of Duty Ghosts weapon guides. In today's episode we will be covering the SC-2010. The SC-2010 is a fully automatic assault rifle, designed back in 2005 by Inege Sergio Casanave, and manufactured by Peruvian company Desarrollos Industriales Casanave. The SC-2010 is based and inspired by Effenhurst's very own FAL, or Fusil Automatic Léger. It is chambered with the 7.62x51mm NATO cartridge. You may think to yourself it is a weapon on its own, but it is actually part of a family. The original weapon was called the SC-2005, which is a Peruvian proposed upgrade to the FN FAL. This weapon was chambered with the 5.56x45mm NATO round. Other variants came later on, the first one being the SC-2009 modular weapon system, which featured a Picatinny rail, select fire, and a redesigned stock. A year later, a brand new design model came into the picture. This variant was called the SC-2010 High Power Modular Weapon System, and was an improvement to the FAL 5000 automatic rifle. Again, this featured a Picatinny rail, a telescoping stock, and a special muzzle brake to support the high power 7.62mm cartridge, which made a significant reduction of recoil per shot. While this was a recent design, a brand new one came into the picture. This one is called the SC-2026C assault rifle, although this weapon is more based off the AKS-74U. Production started in the same year as it was designed, and that was 2005. Since then it is still produced today in 2014, although more common with the later variants of the weapon. So let's move on to some in-game stats. The magazine size for the SC-2010 is at 30 rounds, standard for the assault rifle class. If you equip the extended mags attachment, this gives the magazine an extra 15 rounds, boosting up a total of 45 per magazine. The fire rate is quite high, at 750 rounds per minute. It is because of this fire rate the weapon is quite good up close. The reload time is at a slow 2.8 seconds and 3.3 seconds when empty. This is a downside to the weapon, with the fast fire rate depleting your magazine quicker than the other assault rifles. One of the weapon's traits is its recoil. The SC-2010 has very low recoil. This makes this weapon very accurate at long range distances. However, this brings me on to the next downside to the weapon, and that's its damage. The SC-2010 has very low damage compared to its other peers. In close quarters, the weapon deals 35 damage. This makes it a 2-hit kill to the head due to the 1.5 headshot multiplier and 3 shots to the body. Over range, damage drops off significantly to 20, meaning it's 4 shots to the head and 5 shots to the body. It is because of this that the muzzle brake is a must-need attachment for this weapon. Speaking of attachments, let's move on to my recommended attachments. My first recommended attachment for the SC-2010 is the red dot sight. This weapon is very accurate at range, and when there's accuracy involved you need to have a clear sight for precise shots. Having a red dot sight removes your iron sights and gives you a clear view on target. My second recommended attachment is the muzzle brake. As I said previously, the muzzle brake is a must-need attachment for this weapon, due to the low damage over range. By equipping this attachment, this gives this weapon's downsight a bit of an uplift. My third recommended attachment is extended mags. With the slow reload time you want to make sure you have enough bullets in your magazine before you start to reload. If you encounter a serious gunfight against multiple foes, you want to make sure you have enough ammo in your magazine. Once the area is clear, simply go to prone or find cover, then reload your weapon and get back in the gunfight. And finally, my last recommended attachment is the silencer. This weapon can be quite good in a stealth role, and with that fast fire rate, this weapon can definitely be good with this attachment. So moving on to my recommended perks when using the SC-2010. My first recommended perk is quick draw. With this weapon dealing low damage, you definitely want to snap onto targets as quick as you can, and quick draw allows us to aim down our sights a lot faster than usual. I personally come across multiple gunfights and I've won pretty much all of them, and it's basically all down to this one perk. My second recommended perk is sleight of hand. With that slow reload time, it's definitely not going to help you out in gunfights and certain situations, so having that fast reload time will definitely sort out this downside to this weapon. My third recommended perk is focus. Focus is generally a good choice no matter what in your gunfights, whether you're in close quarters or medium to long range engagements. Having that reduced flinch definitely helps win your gunfights most of the time. My fourth recommended perk is Deadeye. Although in my recommended class setups I don't use the perk Deadeye, this can definitely help out with this weapon's downside and low damage, although at a cost of 5 points in your perk slot. While this perk is definitely a good choice for the weapon, It's the point value that's the issue with this perk. My 5th recommended perk is ICU. It is a perfect perk when going in those gunfights against multiple enemies, to generally keep you alive. My 6th recommended perk is Ready Up. This perk goes hand in hand with the Quick Draw perk. Simply having a short sprint, aiming your weapon faster and aiming down your sights faster is a good combination when using a weapon that deals low damage and high fire rate. Once again, this perk has definitely helped me in a lot of my gunfights. Even though this weapon is an assault rifle and it's designed for mid to long range engagements, you will encounter those 1 or 2 situations when you're in close quarters and you need that perk to help you win the battle. My 7th recommended perk is Dead Silence. This perk goes paired up with the silencer attachment in using it as a stealth role. When running around the map, you don't want your enemies to hear out your location of where you are. Plus, when using this weapon in a stealth role, you want to make sure you're quiet at all times. So equipping Dead Silence will make our footsteps silent against foes. And finally, my 8th recommended perk is Gambler. This perk is valued at 1 point, and works out really at 50-50 chance. Sometimes you'll be getting good perks, and sometimes you can get perks that really don't benefit you at all. However, if you are very lucky to equip a good perk, then that perk could definitely help you out throughout the match. While it is a gamble, in the end, you are in it to win it. And finally, moving on to my recommended class setups when using the SC-2010. As usual, the weapon is on the SC-2010, and that's going to be our primary weapon. This class is based for a stealth-like role. My attachments choice are the silencer and extended mags. I've gone with no secondary, lethal or tactical, leaving the rest of the points spent on perks. My perks of choice are Ready Up, Quick Draw, Dead Silence, ICU, Focus and Gambler. For my strike package, I've gone with Assault, and my strike chain is the SATCOM, the Guard Dog and the Sentry Gun. However, if your style of play is out and loud, then maybe my next class up is a good choice for you. Once again, we've gone with the SC-2010 as our primary. This time for attachments, I've gone with the red dot sight and the muzzle brake. Once again, I've gone with no secondary or lethal. However, I've used a point to spend on a tactical, specifically a concussion grenade. Simply tossing one of these in a room or in a gunfight will disorientate your enemy and slow them down, allowing you to simply pick them off. For my perks, I've gone with Ready Up, Sleight of Hand, Quick Draw, ICU and Focus. Once again, I've gone with the Assault Strike package. And for my strike chain, I've gone with the SATCOM, the IMS and the Sentry Gun. So overall, I say that this weapon is 50-50. It has some good traits to the weapon, such as the fast fire rate and the low recoil. However, there is a downside to everything, such as the slow reload time and the low damage. So this concludes my weapon guide of the SC-2010. If you enjoyed this video, then a thumbs up would be much appreciated. Join me next time when I'll be covering the LSAT. Until then, I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.